welcome. We are the 20th Century Art History class here at DSU, and we are cooking up some of Salvador Dali's recipes today. So we're excited to show you what we're making.
Yeah, I'm JC. I'm helping co-host this little show. Also excited to see how art and food can be related.
All right, so we're gonna go over and see what's going on here. So do you guys wanna tell us a little bit about what we're making today?
Today we're making an Oasis Leek Pie. It has curry in the crust and it's made of leeks. And there will be a palm tree on top of our pie.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a little island, right? So we brought in our cookbook here. So it's a little island of pie crust surrounded by our leek mixture.
I should have worn my Hawaiian shirt today.
You should have. So what are you guys doing right now?
Right now we're cooking the bacon that will go into our pie.
Okay, and so the leeks will go in there next, right? All right, let's go. GC, let's go check out the leeks and find out a little bit more about those.
Awesome.
Hi.
Hi, Maddie. Courtney, you guys want to tell us what's going on over here? What are you guys prepping?
Yeah, so like they mentioned, this is a leek pie, and so this is what a leek looks like for those of you who don't know what a leek is.
You've spread a leek.
And so a leek is basically kind of like an onion. And so what you do is you'll chop off the top of it, so it'll look like this when it's put together, and then you cut it in half. And because it grows in a sandier environment, it'll start to collect all of this sand, as you can see right here, so you need to make sure to wash them out thoroughly. And then you just basically take them and you cut them into little dices like an onion.
Cool.
What do you think Salvador Dali would have thought about leeks?
We think he would have liked him. He preferred food that had hard, definitive shapes and forms, such as like lobsters or loaves of bread. He hated spinach because it was mushy and kind of formless.
I hate spinach too.
Most of us do.
Yeah. And also the leek is kind of a phallic symbol, which is kind of a common element in Surrealism.
Yeah, and Dali is a surrealist artist, and so we see a lot of phallic symbols with his crusty bread and things like this leek, which is sort of a strong, solid, masculine form. Good, thank you guys. All right, JC, where are we headed next?
I believe we're headed over to the pie crust
We are
station.
headed over to the pie crust station.
Which pie crust is my favorite part, besides bacon.
It is delicious. So Julie, you want to tell us what you're doing right here?
Well, here we have pie dust that we had made before class, and I'm just rolling it out, and we're gonna put it into this pan next, which we have prepared so that we can lay the dough on top, and then it will have just like a little island that we'll put the leek on.
Yeah, so we're just using a little tin foil chicken pot pie to prop up that island in the middle. Why is the dough kind of yellowy looking?
Oh, like they said before, it has curry in it to make it have more of a sandy look, to make it look more like a beach, and to give it a good smell and flavor.
Awesome, thank you.
So while we're here, do you know anything about the life of Salvador Dali? Anything interesting you could tell us about the man himself?
Well, Salvador, from an early age, at about 6, he went through a few phases, but at 6 he wanted to be a cook, and that is one reason it followed him throughout his life, this love of cooking and the way you can arrange it almost as an artistic piece. But he was very genius-like at an early age. So, for example, his drawing talent came out when he was just 4 years old. He would like color on the kitchen table, which is nothing new for a young kid, but the thing that was interesting about him is he would stick to it for half an hour, 45 minutes, this 4-year-old kid with this kind of intensity. And so, early on they knew they had something special with him. He's one of those cases, though, where it's nice to observe a genius from a distance, but not real easy to raise one. So he had a few quirks along the way.
He did. He was a little bit spoiled as a child, wasn't he?
He was for about 4 years, the only child in the house. And his family was well-to-do, and he had his mother that just doted over him and lots of maids in the house. So he was kind of surrounded with this army of women willing to, tend to his every need. So he had a wonderful childhood in that sense.
Awesome. What about his dinner parties? Wasn't he known for throwing these fabulous, crazy dinner parties?
Definitely. He would serve all sorts of different foods. Like we mentioned before, crayfish was one of his favorites. And not only would he serve crazy foods, he would serve them in a crazy way, like having fish in a shoe was one example. Or he would have live frogs there. You wouldn't really eat live frogs, but
But they'd be jumping around the table. Pretty crazy, don't you think, JC?
Those parties would be hopping mad.
Good. Well, thanks for. Oh, we have one more important part of Dali's biography to cover. Who was sort of his partner in crime and life and in cooking?
that would have been Gala. They met in Paris in the summer of 1929 at a Surrealist group thing. Gala at the time was married, but when she met Dali, she kind of stuck with him after that. That was a bit of an affair, but she helped calm him when he was super stressed. She helped focus him, and she was just like his steering wheel in life. Like we said before, he was spoiled as a child, and he was spoiled as an adult by his wife.
Yeah, and they had kind of a rough end to their marriage at the very end. There's some separation there where she sort of wouldn't let him come visit her, but romance for the ages.
Definitely.
Good. Well, we're gonna, now that our leeks are all cooked over here, Dali recommends that you cook them for about an hour. So now that they're cooked, we're gonna dump them in this bowl here and mix up the rest of the stuff that goes in. All right. So we've got our bacon and all of our yummy bacon grease in there.
Bacon
And-
grease are two of my favorite words.
Yes. Nothing can go wrong. So it'll make all the onions a little bit more delicious. So let's go on over here. Bring this over here. Kind of curious, what's going on? What's going on over here?
All right, well, we are making the palm tree part of the island.
Oh.
Put in the middle.
So we're gonna put a palm tree in the middle of our oasis island.
You have to
Excellent.
have a palm tree.
You do. That looks pretty great. So, did you guys just cut up the leaves a little bit to make that?
Yeah, we just sort of cut these leaves down the middle, and any parts that were broken off, you just sort of just cut them off.
Yeah.
And we also, you can see this is thinner than the original, normal leek since we stripped off some of the outer layers.
Yeah.
of it.
Cool. So Dali and palm trees and surrealism. We haven't talked about surrealism yet, JC. Why don't we tell everyone what surrealism is? So, guys, you want to weigh in on surrealism and tell us a little bit about that art movement?
What is surrealism exactly?
Surrealism is a movement in art history that was really focused on dreamlike experiences, and it was heavily influenced by Sigmund Freud's theory of psychoanalysis.
Yeah, Freud really played a big role in surrealism, didn't he? Which is why you get a lot of emphasis on things like the leek as a phallic form and so forth. What did surrealist art look like?
So to compare it to another work of Dali's, the sculpture that he did, he made a telephone, but the receiver was a lobster. And so that goes to show just how out of the box and crazy that surrealism was, and as well as the claws of the lobster went on to portray like the fear of surrealists of being castrated, and so
Which
Little
does,
snip.
yeah, which was a big motif in their art. There was often this fear of castration. So you see things like lobsters, which have those claws represented quite frequently. And we've already discussed how Dali really likes that hard,
Definitive forms.
of things like lobsters and crayfish and leeks here. Okay, so we've got our leeks ready. We've got our palm tree ready. We need to put the filling in here. So Miriam's going to go ahead and dump some of our ingredients in there. So 2 eggs, and 6 tablespoons of heavy whipping cream. So again, good with the ingredients. Dali recommends 3 petite Swiss wedges. So that's what we've got there. Some creamy Swiss cheese, a little salt and pepper, and of course some curry. So we're gonna give this a good stir here, get it all incorporated. And what we're gonna do next is we're gonna have Jilly bring over her pie crust that she's put into our tart shell.
keep forgetting the bottom comes in.
The bottom does come off of these tart shell pans, so you got to be a little bit careful there. And when that's good and mixed in, Miriam's going to pour it around our little moat that we've created. So you can see the pie crust is being held up by that little mini chicken pot pie pan. And when that goes into the oven, it'll puff up a little bit, and so it'll look, need some help there? Turn that around. So it'll look even more island-like. All right. You need one more turn. So look at that yummy, good filling. It smells really good in here, doesn't it?
It does smell really good.
Yeah.
Though anything with bacon in it, you know, bacon and curry, cheese, all the good stuff.
Can't go wrong. All right, we're gonna stick this in the oven. So Dali recommends 425 degrees. We thought that was a little high, so we're doing 350 for about 45 minutes here. So we'll go ahead and stick this in to bake. So we'll pretend that's baked already, and we'll take out our finished product here. Okay, so voila.
It's gorgeous.
So you can see that pie crust has puffed up really nicely. So we're just gonna set it down on our cutting board here. And this is the tricky part. So what you're gonna wanna do is take a knife and just cut through the pie crust a little bit, and then cut through the tin of our little mini chicken pot pie pan there. And get that all sorted out. And now this is the most dangerous part, wouldn't you guys say? Yes, we're gonna put the palm tree inside of our island. Wiggle it on down there and hope and pray it stands up. And it has. Voila. So here is our finished product. What do you guys think now that we can see it? What do you think Salvador Dali would have thought about this in relation to surrealism? Does it fit in with surrealism?
Yeah, you know, what's more surreal than eating a tiny island with a giant palm tree in it? You know, pretend you're a giant, very dreamlike. It really invokes that surrealist quality in this odd pie.
Yeah, it's kind of dreamlike. You wouldn't, I mean, I don't know, JC, are you eating islands in your spare time?
I don't know, but I definitely take a vacation there.
Me too. It
Especially if
smells
there's
good.
bacon.
There's lots of bacon.
Yes.
So should be yummy. All right, well, thanks for hanging out with us today and cooking some of Salvador Dali's recipes. And thanks to all of our assistants here in 20th Century Art at DSU.